All right, we have one more act, your headline act. If you like, you guys got one more in you? Oh, this guy is great. You're going to love him. Clap your hands, go crazy, raise the roof for Carl Donnelly.
Hey! You're one of them, man. Hey! How are we, all right? Good. I didn't know this was on TikTok. Fuck. I would have learnt some of them fucking dances, man. My name is Carl. I'm from the UK. I'm actually from the UK relatively recently. And some of you are thinking that is not allowed, Carl. But I'm actually married to one of you people, which is fine. If you're wondering who it is, there's an envelope under one of your seats. We'll be popping that open later in my set. It was rough in the UK, man. We've heard about it already, but like it was, I don't think people realise in this country what it got like. We were getting all sorts of threats. We had Christmas cancelled. That was brutal, man. Like we had a press conference by our Prime Minister at the start of December where he said, I'm sorry to tell you, you cannot have Christmas like previous years. Mass gatherings have to be banned. If you have illicit Christmas dinners, the police will break them up. And everyone was devastated, man. Weirdly, it didn't bother me that much, because I'm from an Irish working class family, so I've never had a Christmas dinner that wasn't broken up by the police. It's just par for the course. We got threatened with the army last August, right? Because what happened is the UK, you know, I'm not going to defend how they dealt with it. They made some errors, yeah? Last August, the cases, coronavirus cases, dropped, right? They went below about 150,000 a day, and they were like, let's get the pubs open, right? Let's have some barbecues. So we all started having barbecues, man. We were told it was all right, and they're like, but no more than 6 people, you dirty little shits. And we were like, all right, I'll have 6 people over, man. So naturally, that 6 did get a little bit larger. So, you know, it was 6 you're meant to have. You ended up with 70 or 80 people in your garden. Numbers got out of hand again. A press conference, they went, mass gatherings are getting out of hand. The army have been deployed. I was like, fucking hell, mate. Imagine being a soldier and hearing that was your orders, man. I don't think you signed up for that shit. Most soldiers, I reckon, sign up thinking they're going to fight terrorism. I'm going to be, you know, imagine that. An English soldier last year, I reckon the summer of 2020, if you ask them at the start of the year, what's it going to be like? They're going to be like, I'm going to be in Iraq, chasing down the last members of the ISIS terrorist cell. And then flash forward to reality. August 2020, you're sitting in a barracks on the outskirts of London while your sergeant comes in and goes, right, guys, orders are in for today. There is an 8-year-old's birthday party with 14 people. Lock and load. And you're like, eh. You end up in 25 years of like therapy with PTSD because you accidentally shoot their grandmother. It's not on. I had a relatively decent 2020, to be honest. I feel guilty saying that, man, but I sort of rode it out quite well. Couple of highlights. I grew my hair back, which doesn't sound like big news for anyone else, right? But I'm about to tell you a true story that is insane, right? 5 years ago, and I might mention you, don't worry, I'm not going to take the piss, man, but, you know, ultimately, your seating position, your head and the lights have created a perfect storm for you. But I had my hair like this, got it cut a bit shorter than normal. I could see my head through the hair, like quite visibly, and I was like, there it is, man. Male pattern baldness happens to a lot of us. I was like, my time has come. I'm gonna get rid. I thought, I'm shaving my head, because I don't want to be one of them lunatics who starts going bald, and rather than just shave it, they just grow like a perimeter fence. So you know they're bald now, but you've got to have a little peek over the top. There it is. It's mad. So I was like, I'm getting ahead of the news. I'm shaving it. Shave my head. I've shaved my head every 3 days, right? It's quite nice shaving your own. Do you shave your own head? It's quite sort of a ritual, isn't it? It feels quite nice. It feels like you're doing something. So I used to do it every 3 days. Loved it. It was a real moment. Every time I get up, right? I kept it 0 for 3 years. So I was like, I don't even want to see how gross it's got, man. I thought I'd have one of them monk haircuts, you know what I mean? Anyway, lockdown happened. I thought, you know what? It might be quite fun to just grow it back and see how disgusting I look. So I grew it back late last year. Turns out I didn't go bald. I've been living as a bald man for 5 years. Now, I'm over the moon. It's a miracle, essentially. Do you know who's not over the moon? My bald friends. Who are livid. It taught me what cultural appropriation is, ironically, as a white bloke. I had loads of like moments last year. It was weird because I know it was such a bleak year all round, but like do you know what? One of the things I really latched onto that kept my spirits up, and this is a show I used to take the piss out of on stage, but it was MasterChef Australia. Now, if you haven't seen it, you don't realise what a gem you've got on your hands, right? I've always been like, it looks a bit over the top to me. Do you know, everyone's dancing around and high-fiving, they're all good-looking. You know, Katy Perry pops in for some reason. I was like, it all looks a bit much. You don't need to calm down. You're just cooking dinner, yeah? And I was always a bit more in tune with, like, English MasterChef. And the reason I liked English MasterChef is if you haven't seen it, it is shit, right? The cooking's bad. It's about 3 weeks long. There's about 12 contestants. The hosts are arguably the least suitable television hosts I've ever seen. Like, I'm not even messing around, right? One guy is called John Turode, who is like a sort of a Sydney-based chef, I think, right? And he's just sort of a bloke. He's like, he talks in an Aussie accent until he gets to the word chorizo, and then he turns into a fucking flamenco dancer. So it's one of them moments that really catches you off guard. He'll be there going, I love what you've done here with this paella there, and I see you put some chorizo on it. You're like, mate, you need to calm yourself down, John, yeah? And the co-host is a guy called Greg Wallace, right, who is essentially some sort of orc, right? He's bald, he's got little glasses like that, his head just comes out of his body, there's no neck involved. And his whole shtick is every week he eats a spoonful of panna cotta and goes, I would stick my head in that, like that. And that's English MasterChef, and I've always thought that is a bit of me, that is, because it's a bit rubbish but fun, do you know what I mean? That's how I live my life, yeah? Anyway, during the pandemic, I thought I'm going to give this Australian MasterChef a go, and it's the best decision I ever made, right? It was perfect lockdown television, because I'll explain how it works, and I'll tell you why it's lockdown television, right? There is about 800 contestants, yeah? They evict one every financial quarter. No one ever leaves. At one point, I'd watched it for 2 weeks straight and no one had left. They'd given every fucking person immunity. They're all hanging out on a balcony. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And then I thought, someone's got to leave today. I don't care, man. Start of the episode, I was like, they've got to get rid of someone today. Start of the episode, smoke machine comes on. They brought someone back. I was like, what? There's more people than we started with, guys. Unreal, honestly, it blew my mind. The cooking is so good on it. I know that's the most boring thing you could ever say. As a comedian, I'm about to basically just describe MasterChef, but I saw a challenge. I'll tell you this quickly, right? I saw a challenge, and the reason it stood out to me, so I remember thinking if that was on British MasterChef, that would have been car crash television, yeah? Get a load of this, right? Obviously, it's like you've got 2 hours to cook the best dish of your life, and they're like, ooh, and they're all running around a pantry and laughing. An hour and 45 in, they're all cooking the best dish of their life. I'm like, I think they're actually going to do it, yeah? And then an alarm goes off, and they're all like, and I'm like, what's going on? Right? The host comes out and goes, surprise ingredient, and he's got a box with a bow on it, and I'm like, what's in the fucking box, man? Opens it, there's a fig in a box. Fig in a box. I mean, you lot are acting like you've seen a fig in a box before. I haven't. I'm losing my mind. My wife's on her phone. I knock it out of her hand. There's a fig in a box, mate. Look at the telly, for Christ's sake. And they're like, you've got to fit the fig in your dish in the next 15 minutes and make it look like it's meant to be there. And I'm just like, what the shit? They can't do it. It can't be done. Everyone did it. 15 minutes later, everyone's shown up to the pass with their dish. It's got a fig granita or a fig jus. I don't know what that is. I think it's a sauce. And I'm just like, I'm almost crying how exciting it was. And I just remember thinking that couldn't happen on British MasterChef. We just haven't got the skills, man. Like what would have happened is, alarm would have gone off, and then Greg Wallace would have come out of his trapdoor with, I've got a fig in my pocket. you've got to get it in your dish. And 15 minutes later, there would be a very sheepish man walking up to the pass, shaking. And he'd go, there you go. And they're like, what have you made for us? He's like, I made you a porcini mushroom risotto. And if you just look on top of it, there's a fig. So, bon appetit. Guys, I've been Carl Donnelly. Take it easy. See you later.
Carl Donnelly, let him hear it! How good!